Hey guys, I'm doing a little video here for Lyft, and this is for people that have never driven or maybe just started driving for Lyft. If you've been driving for months and months and months, you may find a lot of this information simplistic and redundant, but this is for the new person. I've been driving for a while now, and I thought I would write down 7 different things that I think will help you get started and will make the process a little easier, make a little bit more money. So, yeah. All right. So, if you've never driven and you're thinking about doing it, do it. It's super simple. If you know how to drive a car and you're somewhat personable, you can make extra money versus sitting around at home or wherever. Are you going to make a lot of money? No, you're not going to make a lot of money. And just like anything, the more you do, the more you'll make. But this is not quit your job and, make $1 million kind of thing. This is truly supplemental income. If you're retired, and again, you have all this time on your hands, then go out, drive. It all depends on where you live, how much you're going to make. Each city is, I believe each city has different ratings, or I should say, how much it costs to go per mile, maybe even per minute as well. So that is going to be dependent on where you live. But all that being said, it's a great way to make extra money. Like I said in the beginning, it's super simple. You drive around, you listen to music, you shoot the breeze with your passengers if they want, and you pick and choose when you want to go out. So, I mean, it can't be any more flexible than it is. Okay, I'm rambling. All right, so it's your first week driving. Yes, you'll be a little bit nervous. You're going out there, you're picking up people, strangers, and you're putting them in your car, and it can be a little awkward. And you're basically driving them around, so you're focused on the road, you're focused on them talking, you're focused on the app. It can be overwhelming in the beginning. It can be a little nerve-wracking. It's not just driving. I mean, it's, you got to be paying attention to 100 different things. That's natural. I think everybody, including myself, felt that like the first week. It took me about a week, and then I was like, what was I worried about? This is easy. I got this. So don't feel bad. They don't know it's your first week, but I do suggest you tell them. That helps on a couple ways. That lets them know that, you might be a little quieter, a little focused on the road because you're new. Okay, so they're not going to think you're some weirdo. Also, I got a bunch of tips my first week. I didn't do that to get tips. I just was honest with people and, told them, hey, this is my first day, or you're my first ride, or you're my third ride ever, or this is my first week. And most people, I would say about half people get in the car to break the ice. Oh, how long have you been driving? So that first week I was like, oh man, this is my first week. I'm just kind of, getting used to it. And I made a lot of tips the first week, which was awesome. I think people are just like, oh, he's getting started, take care of him. Cool. So I do suggest you tell people, hey, this is my first week, or I'm sorry, blah, 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 blah. I'm just getting used to it. People are cool. I've been doing this for a while now. 98% of people to get in the car are chill as could be. They really are. It's so different than I thought. I thought like half of them would be cool and the other half would be like whatever. No, it's basically everybody. I mean, you get the weird person every once in a while, but I mean, it's few and far between. Okay. Your car. All right. Got to keep it clean. You just do. People don't want to get in a car that is messy, that has shit everywhere, excuse my language, that smells really bad. They want to get in a vehicle that, is nice. I mean, it doesn't have to be a nice vehicle per se, but keep it clean. People appreciate that, and And as a rider myself, not just a driver, but as a rider, I'd much rather get in a clean car than a car with stains everywhere or just smells like smoke or smells like food. I get these little, I've got them off Amazon. They're little bamboo charcoal bags, and they just suck up moisture and suck up any odor that there might be. Really cheap. And I got like 4 or 5 of them like around my car, and they keep the car. So people are always like, "Is your car brand new?" And I'm like, "No, it's almost 5 years old." But it keeps it smelling very neutral. You know, it's not, just doesn't smell like anything, which is perfect. Okay, all right. Third one, probably one of the most important. And I guess this will be dependent on the city and everything like that. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I live about 20 minutes outside the city. And this took me almost a month to figure out, because I'm in the suburbs, but I mean, I'm still in a major city. I mean, I'm not downtown in the, you know, buildings and everything, but like, you know, I'm still in a busy part of town. But what I would do was I would go out and I would just drive to a parking lot and just wait. And sometimes I'd get a hit, and sometimes I'd have to wait 20 minutes. And it was kind of frustrating. I just don't like the waiting period, you know. I like to stay busy. So after like a month of like trial and error and whatever, I figured out a routine to where I would, when I start the day, I'd turn on my app and I drive to a very busy part of town. Like I just start heading that way, slowly just heading that way. And 9 out of 10 times on the way there, I'll get a hit and then my day will start. Or if I don't get a hit, once I get to that really busy part of town, then it's on. And what I do is, and again, this is me, doesn't have to be you, but what I do is, if you look at a city, and I'll use Atlanta where I live, I look at it like a bullseye. You know, dead center is right downtown, you know, right on the north side maybe, all your businesses, all your restaurants, your clubs, whatever. Very high density area. Is I look at that as like a bullseye. And I'm always heading towards that bullseye. No matter where I am around the city, I'm always heading towards the center. So I pick somebody up, I drive them 20 minutes outside the city. I turn around and I just start heading right towards the city again, towards that bullseye. And I do that all day long. I'm just continuously heading towards the center, towards the really busy spots. Now, you can't really control where you're going to go. I mean, like where the rides are going to go, you don't know that. But instead of picking somebody up, let's say in a very busy part of town, and taking them half an hour outside to a slow part of town and just sitting there, you know, I found that to not work out the best. I just continuously keep going towards the busiest parts of town. And I stay super busy. And it took me a while to like figure that out. I know it seems kind of simple, but it took me a while to figure that out. So I ended up having these lulls, these off times of just sitting around and wasting gas basically, and being bored, you know. And I was like, screw this, you know, come on. I just want to stay busy. I don't care if the ride is 5 minutes or, you know, an hour. I just want to keep going, getting those numbers. And so, yeah, that's a tip. I love it. I mean, it's really helped me out. It keeps me busy. I make more money. Also, I wanted to, also talking about driving and strategy with driving is peak times. Now, Lyft probably won't like this, but the truth of the matter is that peak times means rush hour times. Okay, for most part. Sometimes on the weekends, like Friday night when people go out to dinner, or like Saturday night when people are going out to clubs or whatever, those can be peak times too, and that doesn't mean rush hour, and those are really good. You always want to hit those up. But peak times like 7 to 9 in the morning and like 4 to 6 in the evening, yeah, everybody's moving about, but they're not moving about. I mean, it's stop and go traffic. And what really stinks about ride sharing and driving for ride share is that you really get paid only on distance that you drive. You make a very, very, very small amount on the time that you're actually driving for a particular ride. So you can go pick somebody up during a peak time and drive them 3 or 4 miles in bumper to bumper traffic and make very little money, because you only went 3 miles and you might have had them in your car for half an hour. And it's happened to me a bunch. Look, pause. All right. The big picture is it's a game of numbers. You got to take the good with the bad. Okay. You can't look at just one ride and go, all right, well, You know, I was just in a car for 45, I just took somebody for 45 minutes and made $5. You can't look at that. You got to look at the big picture. Okay, so all right. So the thing with peak times is that when you live in a major city, or really any city, you know, those rush hour times, you can't scoot around as fast, and so you're making less money. They do incentivize these zones where traffic can be really bad, but in my personal experience, it doesn't even out. So I'm not saying avoid them. I'm just saying you got to balance it. Got to balance it out. Okay, next one. Multi-stops, gas stations, and bathroom breaks. All right, so I learned this lesson the hard way. All right, so you pick somebody up and it says this rider has multiple stops. 99% of the time, it's just 2 stops. You know, 1 stop and then wherever they're going. A lot of times that 1 stop might be to pick up a friend, might be go to a gas station and get a drink, but sometimes it's take me home, let me shower and change, get ready, and then I want you to take me out to dinner. Or I'm getting off work, I need you to stop by the grocery store so I can run in and do some shopping. No. I learned this the hard way. I picked a young lady up from work. I took her to a grocery store. She said, I'll be right out. Long story short, about 45 minutes later, she came out. This was my first week. She came out 45 minutes later. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know the protocol. I took her home. Whole thing was just under an hour. I believe it was 53 minutes, and I think I made like $6.50. So this is what I do now, is if they have multiple stops and we get to their first stop, I normally ask, hey, do you know how long you're going to be? You know, sometimes they're running in a bank. I mean, sometimes it's just simple stuff. You know how long it's be? No. Well, what I say is, I go, look, I can give you up to 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, I'll have to keep going, you know, and you can call another rider. And most of the time, they're totally cool with that. Oh, yeah, I get it. And sometimes they're not. And you just got to say, look, you know, we just don't get paid on sitting time. We get paid on driving time, you know, and it is what it is. You just got to let them know, or else you're going to be just wasting time and gas and not making any money, and you're going to hate doing it. So learn that lesson through me, not out there like I did. Okay. Also, this is for you and I also made this mistake early. So learn from mine. When you need to stop, go to the bathroom, stop, get something to eat, stop, get gas. I know this sounds simple, but turn the driver app off. If you leave it on, you're going to continuously get requests for rides. You get about, I think, 12 or 15 seconds to accept that ride. If you don't, your acceptance rate goes down. Why do you care about your acceptance rate? Because Lyft offers tons of different bonuses, and almost all of them require a 90% acceptance rate. So 90%, that's 9 out of 10, 18 out of 20, you get it. So you want to make sure you turn the app off anytime that you do not intend to be picking anybody up. Whether that's just to pull over and stretch your legs or do whatever, turn it off, and then requests won't come in, and you won't be penalized if you don't take a request. And when I say penalized, I don't mean like you're going to get fired, but penalized like you won't be offered, you know, these bonuses that they have, which are valuable if you're out there busting rides left and right. All right, so just remember that's important. Okay, number 6. This is just in general, driving, names, conversation, radio. Okay, driving. I joke with people. I go, I can driving Miss Daisy to Ricky Bobby, you know. I am a stickler for not going the exact speed limit. I know that's a silly thing to say, but I go with the flow of traffic. Don't be that person in a 55 when everybody's passing you at 65 or 70. Nobody likes to do that. Nobody that's, you know, 15 years old to 65 years old. Nobody likes that. Go with the flow of traffic. I know you're taking somebody with you. Doesn't mean you have to like go 100 miles an hour, but just drive normal, you know. I don't know what you drive like. If you're a stickler for going 34 and a 35, sorry, I don't want to be behind you. All right, just drive normal. Okay, I've been in so many rides where I know that they're driving super extra like slow and careful because they have a passenger. It's annoying to me. I want to get where I want to go, you know. Now I've also been in rides where they're going 100 miles an hour and scaring the shit out of me too, and I don't want that either. Just go with the flow of traffic. Just drive normal. Okay. Also, names. When you get hit up, and all this stuff will help with tips and earnings. They really do. They really do. When you get a hit on your phone for a ride, it will show you the passenger's name. For me, I say, excuse me, I said the name 3 times in my head. I want to remember that name. When they get in the car, hey Nancy, how you doing? Oh great, blah 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 blah. And then when they leave, Nancy, have a wonderful day. Have a nice evening. Call it corny, call it polite, call it whatever. People like that. You know, it's just that little extra touch on top. And you will get more tips that way. Okay? You will get better ratings that way. Do it. It's just nice. Nobody wants, some asshole. Nobody wants that. All right. Conversation. Honestly, within the first 5 seconds they get in the car, or 10, you can tell if they want to talk or not. I would say that 60% of the people want to chat their way through the ride, and 40% want to play on their phone and zone out. Totally cool with me. I don't care either way. I can tell right away. They get in the car. Hey, Nancy, how are you doing today? Good. Doesn't want to talk. Good, thank you. How are you doing today? Oh, I'm blah, blah, blah. How long have you been on? Blah, 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 blah. And then it goes. And you just tell. You don't have to be a psych major. You can just tell if they want to talk to them. If they don't. Just play it by ear. Like I said, as a passenger, I've gotten in the back and just want to be left alone. I'm doing something on my phone, and I'm getting hit with a million questions from the driver, and it's kind of annoying. And if I want to talk to the driver and they don't want to talk, well, I don't really care. I didn't get in the car to talk to the person. I'm just take me wherever. Radio. It's such a weird thing. You get everybody in your car. You get, young kids. You get elderly people. You just never know. So I suggest you find, if you're going to play music, a radio station, or music anywhere, I suggest you play something that you would hear in a public place. A grocery store, a doctor's office. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. Just kind of middle of the road stuff. I always offer to people, hey, do you have any particular music you want to listen to? I have an aux cable that they can plug their phone into that I'll show you in a second. But if that doesn't come up, I just play something right down the middle, and I don't play it super loud. Look, people, they don't want to get in a car and start bleeding from the ears. I mean, this is common sense stuff, but I get into rides where people are just blasting the radio. And don't get me wrong, I mean, I do that sometimes too, but not normally when I'm when I'm sitting in the back of somebody's car just trying to go somewhere, It's really annoying, actually. So I just keep it like normal, normal. If they say, hey man, can we turn this up? Absolutely. I've never had anybody say, hey, can you turn it off? I mean, but if just go with the flow with them, but don't, whatever type of music you listen to, just be considerate. Remember, you're working, you're trying to make money, and the more that they enjoy the ride, the more that they're likely to tip you and rate you well, and then that means better bonuses for you, and that's more money, right? This is about money, right? All right, good. All right. I jumped right over the accessories. All right. I will do that in a second. Okay, ratings. Lyft isn't probably going to like this either. Passenger ratings. There is never a reason for you or me or any driver to rate a passenger under 5 stars. Unless they're doing something bad. I mean, they get in the car, they're really drunk, they're being obnoxious, they get sick, knock on wood, that hasn't happened to me. They get mad at you for some reason, that hasn't happened to me. I think I've rated, out of the hundreds and hundreds of rides I've given, I think I've rated maybe 5 people under 5. And that was because they took advantage of the system. They had me wait somewhere longer than, when I told them, hey, I can be 5 minutes, no problem, I'll be out in 3. And they came out like 15 minutes later, and I just wasn't going to leave them. Stuff like that. And the rule is that if you rate them 3 or lower, you two will never be paired again. If you request and you're right around the corner, you won't even see it, and vice versa, or whatever, So when you're picking somebody up, if you see somebody, and I have this little, if it's below a 4.6, be wary. I know that sounds horrible. It sounds horrible because they might have only taken 3 rides and one guy gave him a bad rating. So you can't really get the full picture. But just driver to driver, anytime I see it below 4.6, it tells me this might not be the most courteous passenger. Okay, so just that's a little inside info. And as far as drivers go, you know, passengers can rate things. They can be as happy as could be and say, thank you, that was the best ride ever, and maybe throw you a 3-star. You know, people are weird. You're taking hundreds of rides, right? And you're going to have people that just rate, maybe even misclick on their phone, right? So I personally have a 4.98 rating, which is awesome. And it gets reset each month. So I normally am right around a 5. You know, I try my best just to keep it up there. I try to do anything for the riders, you know, that's not going to cost me money, you know, like sitting in my car for 50 minutes, you know, running gas. But other than that, just keep that in mind when you're picking people up, that if they're below a 5 or a 4.9, there's a reason. There's a reason. So I picked up a 4 the other day. That was the lowest I've personally ever seen, a 4 flat. And it wasn't the best trip. Honestly, I could tell why the rating was where it was. I won't get into specifics, but as a driver, I throw a 5. You should throw a 5 unless there's something, you know, not personality, but like, you know, if they're trying to take advantage of the system or they're spilling crumbs everywhere, you know, and you ask them not to maybe eat in the car or just something like that, you know, I always throw a 5. So that, and I know a lot of drivers that do the same thing. Okay. Second to last thing, setting goals, going home, and bonuses. Now, we've talked a little bit about bonuses. Setting goals. I don't know if you're going to do this part-time, full-time, whatever. When I go out, depending on what day of the week it is, I like to say I'm getting 10 rides today. When I started off, it was 5, you know, because I didn't really have a flow down and I was a little nervous and like whatever. I didn't have a flow. So it was 5. Now it's 10. Sometimes I get 15. I think the most I've gotten in the night/day is 18. But I know drivers that go for 20 each day. Now that's a ridiculous amount of rides, but they're making a lot of money. But they're also spending a lot of gas, so you got to balance it. But yeah, so I like to set goals. You know, some people do it monetarily, some do it by rides. I do it mine by rides because sometimes honestly, I'll do 4 rides and hit like a monetary goal. But I'm like, shoot, I've only been out here an hour or 2. You know, I'm just gonna keep going. So I do 10 right now. And again, if I hit that 10 and I'm still ready to go, I keep going. But I just find it's a cool way to self-manage, you know, just like, all right, yeah, I'm going to do 10 rides today. No matter how long it takes me, I'm just going to do it. Boom. All right, going home. I learned this one the hard way too. I obviously learned a lot of things the hard way. So when you're done, wherever you are in your city, your community, whatever, and you're like, I'm tired, I'm so done, either turn off the app and drive home, okay? Or use destination mode. Destination mode is on the app at the very top right, however that is. And what it does is it allows you to start going home, and it will only attach rides that are also headed that same direction. So you won't be dragged out of your way. Not any more than a couple miles, but you'll continuously keep going home, that area. See, in the beginning, I would drive all night and be like, all right, I'm so tired, I'm going home, and leave it on. And then I would get so close to my house and then we get yanked away, 20, 30 miles away, and then have to come back. And I know you're screaming, dude, you're stupid. Why don't you just turn it off? I didn't know. I was just trying to get rides. And, yeah, I learned the hard way. But anyway, so when you're done, you're like, I am done. No more rides. Either turn it off or put on destination mode. I say destination mode because you're going that way anyway. Why not, make a little, some extra money? A lot of times in destination mode, I personally don't get a bunch of rides or a ride on the way home, but that's fine. I'm going home. I'm done. So, and it will cut off about 4 or 5 miles from your destination, whether you're going straight to the house or you're going to dinner or to the bar or whatever. It will cut off and say, sorry, we weren't able to find you a ride. Good night. Boom, done. Bam. All right. So now I'm going to show you a couple things I have in my car that passengers love and you should put in your car too that don't cost a lot of money. All right, I can't seem to flip the camera around. new phone. All right, so this is what I did. This didn't cost much money at all. Let me show it to you. Right here in the back, okay, I've got an aux cable, I've got an Apple, and I've got an Android. And I also have adapters for the Android so they can fit the old Type-C and the new, or whatever, USB Type-C and the old ones. Anywho, and then I got some Velcro. Boom. People love this. They freak out. They're like, do you have a charger? And they look down, and I've got every charger they could imagine. People love this. They use them all the time. I get many more tips. Almost anybody that ever uses them tips me. Seriously. They're like, oh, thanks. Can I use your charger? I'm like, absolutely. This is what they're for. In the front, I don't know if you can see this, but I have a little charger that goes into little port here. It's a fast charger. So yeah, just fill your, they can charge their phones up really fast. And then I have another battery thing, an Anchor battery thing right here for the third charger. So yeah, all set to go, all done. I think I probably spent 25 bucks on all of this. Amazon.com. And then that is for my phone. I think that was like 12 bucks, maybe 15. Anyway, it's like $30-$40 altogether that honestly you'll make in a couple hours driving, and passengers love it. And it's just, in this day and age, you need chargers. People use them all the time. They love it. Simple. All right, well, I have made this much longer than I expected, so I hope that helps you guys out. And if it does, and you may want to start driving, I'm going to put a little code below that's worth $460. And all you have to do is make, in the first 2 months, you have to do 200 rides. 60 days, 200 rides. Totally possible. If you do it, you make an extra on top of all the other money that you made driving and tips. Make another extra $460. Okay? You got to drive 200 trips. Doesn't matter if they're small trips, long trips, but 200 in the first 2 months. Extra $460. If you want to do that, or you've never taken a Lyft and you want to take a Lyft, use the code below. It's Eric, ERIC 04009. Okay? I'll put it below. Use it, because you'll get hooked up with rides and you'll make a ton more money doing that. All right? Peace out, y'all.